Shit. How's everybody doing? Hello. Better late than never. I'm here. I'm here. I'm coordinating. I'm making sure that my guest makes it here. Hello. How are you? Welcome. Welcome to the stream where we're going to do some stuff. We're going to talk about some things. We're going to try to be enlightening and stuffs. Waiting for my guest to arrive. Okay. That's better. I like that layout better. I'll put you right there. How's everybody doing? Share this. I'm waiting on my guest. How's everybody doing? What's up, Twyla? Bear? Concerned citizen? Sorry, I did a whole bunch of cocaine before I came up here, and my nose is a little runny. That was a joke. Still cool with DMA? Why wouldn't I be? You haven't heard me say anything bad about him, have you? That should be a pretty obvious thing. If I got a problem with somebody, I'm gonna say something about it. Just a thought. Gonna have a good call-in guest? No. We're gonna have an actual guest up. And then we're gonna have Manuel Mata up and maybe auditing area county if he's around. Mata, the chat doesn't know who the guest is, so yeah. Hiring for editors. If you know how to edit videos, hit me up. If you think you can copy what I do on this channel, the shit that I do edit, hit me up. I do all the editing here, by the way, for the most part. I do have clippers like Concerned Citizen, a few others in the chat that clip down live streams and post them all over the internet. And that's happening. But an actual editor? No, I don't have an editor. What up, folks? We are waiting on a guest. But basically, I'll give you I'll pre-game you on what we're going to talk about, because it's going to be similar to the Steve and Deborah stream that we did, where James went to Sheria and they did all that stuff. Something very similar to that. I have another guest that was affected by First Amendment auditors and has had to deal with years of blowback from it. Years and years of blowback from it. And he hasn't been able to properly tell his story. And I think that this is an appropriate time for that. So, without further delay, I will bring up my friend, JJ Scarborough, who is going to tell us all about his dealings with this shit. JJ, hello, you are live. Howdy.
Good deal. Hello, hello. Of course, don't have the camera on tonight. I'm actually not at home tonight, so.
Well, can everybody hear him good? Can we hear him good? I figured since somebody wanted to come on my stream yesterday and bash my friend, that I'd bring him up here and give him an opportunity to tell you all about him. And then I know Mata had some questions for him last night, and JJ is willing to answer them. So we're going to bring Mata up so we can ask JJ some questions. Same thing with auditing Erie County. Because there's people that have a lot of bad things to say about my buddy, and I don't have those same things to say. So I think it's important that you hear from him, because he can parrot the same story as Deborah and Steve, if not worse, if not much worse. And nobody came to Meade County to like look out for anybody or do any kind of real activism. These two losers named Chris and Tiffany went to a jail and caused a whole bunch of problems. And it's been like what, JJ, 2 or 3 years now of like personal life drama, internet drama, all kinds of shit because of these two morons that came like a tornado with no purpose.
Yeah, it's actually been 2 years ago this month.
There you go. I mean, yeah, I'll let you tell your story start from, you had no idea about any of this shit until two morons came to the jail to do what?
Well,
I'm going to mute my mic so you can go for yourself. You can go for it.
Okay. Now, hey, I can't see the chat. So if something important comes in the chat, you'll have to tell me.
Chat, I'm ignoring the chat. We're chatting.
Okay. Of course, I mean, fire off with a couple questions. I mean, I don't know exactly where you want me to go with this, so kind of lead me off in what direction, or what kind of questions do you want answered? I know there's a lot of questions.
Not questions, story time. So story time. Tell your story, how Chris and Tiffany came and how that turned into charges after he posted your personal address on the internet, and how he has made repeated reports to officials in the state and in the county to mess with your job, mess with the jail, mess with Amber's job, mess with your family members, all of it, dude. I mean, obviously not all of it. We can't get into him hanging out with pedos and stuff like that. Just you specifically.
Okay, I just say, damn, if we go over everything, we're gonna be here for this gonna be like a 24-hour stream.
Yeah, no, not that one.
Basically, I just from the beginning. Somebody, of course, I wasn't actually at the jail the day that they actually come into the jail. The first time I was actually gone. Somebody called me and told me there was a little bit of a disruptance. Told me it was on YouTube. Of course, they actually had to send me the link because, hell, I didn't know where to find any of this kind of stuff at. I didn't know any names. And I went and watched and sort of kind of just got involved from there. Didn't really know what an auditor was, the First Amendment auditor, 1A community, any activists. I didn't know what any of that was. I didn't know any of the drama, any of that kind of stuff around it. Then from there, they actually made their way over to the jail with their open records request, and which that's a whole nother story of, anybody who claims to be a 1A auditor or an auditor or somebody who's supposed to be knowledgeable of the law. You would think that they would have a basic understanding of how to fill out requests and where they go and how it all works. But, that's another story for another day. But, so of course we had somebody in visiting. They drove about 3.5 hours down from the Cincinnati area, and they was in there trying to have a conversation with their son. Of course, the door was open. We was actually doing some maintenance on an AC unit up top, so obviously the power was off. So we're not going to have a bunch of yahoos running around just needlessly recording in our lobby while somebody's trying to visit their son. They only did a 15-minute visit, so we try to be respectful of that.
Let me interrupt you because I know we have a lot of people in here that are like, that's legal. No, actually, in the area that he's talking about was a secured area behind a locked door. This is not a common area, not a FOIA, not a publicly accessible area. You had to go through a locked door and be granted access to where they were at. That's why there's charges.
Yeah, when I technically this don't have anything to do with any charges. There's no charges that stem over the recording and the jail and all that kind of stuff. There's no charges that have anything to do with that.
I was under the wrong impression then.
No, I just told them to stop recording, and of course they didn't want to stop recording. Of course, I explained that this woman's in here visiting. You're not going to record her conversation.
All right, so hold on a minute then. Now I'm learning some shit here. So he got pissed at your guys' interaction, and then that's when he started posting your address and shit. How do we get to the address thing? That's it.
Hell, the address come a little time after they first made their first appearance in the jail, doing their recording, and why I had to visit her in there. Yeah, that come quite a bit later, a couple months later. Yeah. There was never no charges or anything over recording inside the jail.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. All right. So basically, you had some First Amendment activists that came under the guise of doing a records request to the jail, and mind you, the jail should know what's going on, but they didn't, and they had no idea what was going on, and this evolved into some personal shit. But they went there to cause a reaction, and that's the whole point. There was nothing to accomplish. The excuse to go there was a records request, and we've all done that dumbass same shit. So I get it. And the point is this is an element of this. This is a public official that's up here, guys. This isn't like, he's an elected official in Kentucky. And he, normal people aren't the only ones that have blowback from this dumbass shit. He's literally just told you he spent years dealing with this because some moron put his address on the internet and encouraged people to show up. How has that affected your old lady? How has that affected you, like your kids and shit? I'm sure not a good thing.
Well, of course, thing? I would let Amber come up here and actually speak for herself. Now, as far as my kids, I'm not going to talk about my kids. She's only going to share her story in one place, and that'll be in the upcoming months. She's going to share her story in court, and that's it. So I'm not going to drag her in the middle of something. She's been put through enough, just to say the least.
Yeah.
So
that's really all that
I mean, and I just, here's kind of hitting on what she was just saying about coming into a building underneath of like a false pretense just for a reaction. And of course, some of this stuff didn't put itself together until months down the road. Like coming in to do a records request, or going over like to the Meade County Clerk's office to do a records request. Anybody that's watched the Dummy Kruger video, they know that long before this, the jailer over in Hardin County, he even told them point blank that these records didn't exist, that there was no arrest made, there was no fingerprints, there's no mud shots because there was no arrest. But this was still dragged out for months and months and months of telling viewers that I'm out searching for these records that the government destroyed. Well, the government didn't destroy them.
Hold on, let me pause you because a lot of people aren't going to know what you're talking about. This is another element of this, folks. Now, JJ is like a side effect of the griftifer and the Tifaho. Okay. They came to the internet on some bullshit, manipulating this genre and the audience in their own personal case. JJ's good friends with Chris's mother, and Chris robbed his mom. His mom called the cops on him, and that's why he got his house raided. And then all this shit that you've seen on the internet has been a production for clicks, views, and money and shit, because he knows he can weaponize you, the audience, and put pressure on shit. And what he's talking about these trying to get records requests at the jail, people have been calling this loser out that's been touting himself as a First Amendment activist, that a lot of you people have shared his shit. He's been up on the what was it, the Real News or something. He was up on a bunch of people have shared his shit, but he's a straight scumbag that has lied about everything. And during his like year-long journey to prove his innocence, because everybody was calling him out, he wound up at JJ's jail doing records requests for records that didn't fucking exist. And that turned into this dude putting JJ's personal address where his kid lives on the internet and encouraging people to show up, saying that he was going to be waiting in his underwear. Like literally put the full address on the internet with a picture of it and encourage people to show up to his house.
Yeah, now actually that was done twice. It was actually done on Facebook the first time, and then YouTube the second time. But one thing that I've noticed, and one thing that I've documented, and I know it's hard for the average person out there who's not involved, who just hears bits and pieces, who catches one live stream or another live stream, they're not catching on to all the wrongs, all the dates that are wrong, all the, 2 years ago during the whole marijuana case, it was the judge from Hardin County sent me to Meade County to get records to show that I was in jail at this time. But then here we come back 2 years, fast forward 2 years, all those dates and all those times have changed, but nobody who's not directly involved has taken the time to actually go back in their records where I wrote all this stuff down and documented it. And they're realizing none of this stuff lines up. None of this stuff lines up. And that's why I say, if we was going to cover this from start to finish, it'd take 24 hours of nonstop.
Man, you're lying. You're lying. this stream is to hyper focus on the effects that you've had, and then bring up Mata and them and have, because I know they got some questions. But the point is like, the dude's a public official, but that doesn't mean that he's immune from the bullshit that happens when you dox him for real. And I know I've been accused of doxing cops and shit. I've never doxed no cop. I've never put their address on the internet. I've never encouraged anybody to show up to their house with their house. None of that shit. I have never done that. And there's a reason, because I know that there are kids in those homes, or there could be, and I'm not going to be responsible for one of you psychopaths in my chat showing up to some cop's house thinking that you're doing me a favor or some shit. No. And that's the point here is literally 2 years. I've known JJ for a year, and I have a full visual of everything that's happened, except for what I just talked about in the beginning, obviously. But since then, it has gotten wild. It's so petty and pathetic, it's not even worth bringing up all the little nuances to it. The point is to introduce you to JJ, because he gets brought up a lot on the internet, and to highlight that he is facing the same kind of shit that, like, Deborah, like, not the town necessarily, just the attacks from the internet, like phone calls, threats. I mean, shit, how many? You got a bunch of death threats. I know you got those.
Yes. And it's not one, it's not two, it's numerous. I mean, everything from emails, bomb threats, threats, to some of these people have actually been, and of course, I wish I would have actually brought my photo with me tonight. Some of these people, they've actually been traced back toward Tennessee Bureau of Investigations was looking for one of them, until he just happened to make that phone call and threatened to kill me, and well, that sort of got him caught. There's another one out of Missouri. It's just,
you're breaking up a little bit.
And what these people, I'm sorry. It's just what I've noticed. A whole lot of these followers and people who's keeping up with this stuff, they're injecting their opinion in some of this, and they just don't know the full story. They only know bits and pieces. I mean, just like your live last night, I listened to that 30 minutes, and so much of the storyline has changed just in the last 6 months of the new stuff that he's putting out, the new twist he's putting on stuff. Just, we're going from mad dumping on one car to where, once he wasn't getting a reaction out of Mata, then we're going to add another car in it at the end. Now there's two shootings. We're not going to double the nurse's salary. We're going to triple it. It's these little inconsistencies that nobody else is catching on to. Nobody else is putting the footwork in on them to find out what the truth is. Well, they're basing their opinion off what one person says, and
well, you got to remember, his audience is diminished. So most people in here have no idea who you're even talking about. We're not on Christopher Ruff. We're on DirectD, and nobody knows what channel you're even talking about unless they've been around for a while. So he still causes problems personally with this dude, but it's not on the scale that it was before.
No. And
and why is that, JJ? Because I canceled him off the internet, and me and you started a business under his channel name, and now we both own and operate For Public Safety LLC. So that's what happened with that. There was a troll on the internet that was being a meanie head to everybody, and I fucking punked him off the internet. And then I created a business out of his channel name, and that's what he does, is cry like a little bitch all over the internet because me and a public official punked him, and he doesn't like it. So JJ's a corrupt public official. I'm sure a lot of you have heard this term. JJ, the corrupt public official. Yeah. I'm gonna be friends and business partners with a corrupt government official. Let that fucking sink in to all of you that have been watching my channel for years and years and been listening to the things that I say. So the point of this is to completely debunk that nonsense. I put a video out. JJ's come up here telling you his story, and it's just, it gets old, especially when stupid people like what's his name? Danny Boy. Where's Danny Boy? What's his last name? Boquist. Danny Boquist, little bitch Danny Boquist. I'm gonna have fun with you, bro. You guys are just, you keep like, what do you do when somebody fucks with your homie? Do you just, hey, bro, that's you. You better deal with that.
But yeah, I mean, I just, after, watching Auditon Erie County, watching some of the other people that I've actually grown to have a great deal of respect for, and what some people are doing, and how they're so much different than some of these other people who call themselves activists or auditors whenever they're not, and they're simply just grifters. They're there just to try to earn a paycheck, just hopefully just take the easy road, and they don't care what they have to do or say in order to earn that paycheck. I mean, I think one of the very first things that I noticed and I asked a whole lot of people is, how do these people consider themselves auditors? There's no part of what they're doing that falls into the category or meets the definition of auditing. And auditing, I think we all share the same idea. Whenever somebody says auditor, it's somebody who most time they audit financial records. They're supposed to give a true and accurate statement of what they're finding. They're there to find wrongdoing. They're there to check financial statements. They're there to report what they're finding, and they're supposed to be accurate and transparent doing so. But they're not.
No, they're not. There's no progress. It's just a giant circular mess to make money. Okay. I just sent the link to Mata.
Yeah, of course. I can't wait till he gets up here. I actually confused him with somebody else for the last 2 years. I thought he was totally somebody else. That's why I saw him on your stream last night. I said, who in the world is this guy? I've never seen him before. But he definitely cracked me up. The way that he asked some questions, and he done some serious dog walking last night.
Yeah. Is JJ taking any questions? Yeah, if you guys have questions, what are your questions? I'll ask him. He can't read the chat, he says. That's JJ, yep. Yeah, we're waiting on Mata right now.
Okay, I can actually see the comments, but now I can't see nothing that you're doing, so.
Okay. Male version of OnlyFans models are activists. Secret Agent Girl says, did all staff get raises?
You know what? That's actually a very good question. And let's cover that. Because obviously we know that somebody's not real good at math. He proved that last night. Whenever I started at the jail, of course, whenever I say everybody's making poverty level wages, they was. And of course, a little bit about me. Of course, I grew up kind of on the poor side of things. I mean, we always had everything we needed, but we didn't have everything we wanted. So I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. I was a mechanic for 19 years, so I grew up on a dairy farm. So I do know what it's like to work, and I also know what it's like to want to make more money to better myself. So I can relate to people. I've never forgot where I come from, and whenever I started, my first analysis of what people was making was basically you had a boss, the elected jailer, who at the time was making $90,000 a year, paying some people down in the low $21,000, $22,000, $23,000 a year wages. Well, that's not good enough. And then over the years, of course, we built up our state inmate population. Our revenue increased. We actually paid the jail off early. You know, we built a lot of buildings. You know, we managed to buy a lot of cars, and you know, we just built ourselves up. You know, we got in a very good financial position. Well, of course, I didn't do that by myself, and the people at the jail did it. So yes, everybody at the jail is making substantially more money than that jail has ever paid anybody in their life. Now everybody says, well, your nurse is a girlfriend. You doubled her salary. Yeah. Yeah, I guess if you want to look at it that way, yeah, I did. Whenever I started there, she was making $14 and something an hour. Now, if there's anybody in the medical field or in the chat that's in the medical field or has a family member in the medical field, does any of them people make $14 an hour? If they do, please tell me where they work at. Maybe I'll send a letter and advocate for their pay raise. $14 an hour. So yes, everybody's received a pay raise at the jail. Good pay raises too.
Yeah, so for this story that goes around that he just gave his girlfriend a raise is bullshit. Everybody got a raise. And it didn't come at the expense of the taxpayers. Or no, wait. The upgrades that you did not come at the expense of the taxpayers. That's right.
Yeah, now if you're talking, yeah, of course, I mean, all the salary money, it has to come out of the general fund.
Right. I'm talking about the medical upgrades, the programming, all that shit.
Yes. Now, as far as like our jail vehicles, all the buildings we built, all the programs that we fund, our wood shop, MRT, anger management, parenting, AA, NA, stuff like that, that actually comes out of a separate account that it's not tied to any of the taxpayer money. It actually comes out of canteen profits, wood shop revenue. We got several different avenues that, you know, and we used to generate a income just for stuff like that. And of course, that canteen money, it can be used for stuff like medical upgrades. So, like one of the things, and I'm not medical, so if I mispronounce something, medical terminology, don't hold it against me. But like one thing, a lot of jails, they send people out for in prisons too. Anytime somebody needs their urine checked for whatever reason. So we went to the canteen account and we bought I'm gonna call it a urinalysis machine. I don't know exactly the name of it. So you can check somebody's P levels or whatever you check in urine. Some people's on a certain kind of medicine where their blood has to be checked every so many days. We bought that blood machine. You know, it's stuff like that we don't care to spend money on.
Right. That's another a good point for me to make is a lot of you are like, well, sheriffs in Arizona are responsible for the jails. There are no elected jailers in Arizona. The sheriff is responsible for the jail. And I'm definitely learning a lot from JJ and from somebody that's a jailer. I'm getting a like firsthand knowledge of that, not actually being there, but you know what I mean? I have a resource that I can literally call and ask anything about how jails and all that shit work. And me and him have spent a lot of time talking about what I'm going to do as sheriff up here. So it's it's been a benefit and a blessing that I met JJ.
And you know, kind of going back to even some of the medical stuff. Of course, medical is the biggest liability in any prison or jail. There's no prison, no jail that will tell you any different. That's your number one liability. So when it comes to medical, dental, vision, all those, and we take that pretty serious. I mean, hell, we have to. But a lot of people don't really focus on, well, yeah, big deal. You bought a urinalysis machine. You bought something to test blood. Well, not only did the taxpayer not pay for that, but why is that such a big deal? Well, you're not spending any gas money. You're not putting the community at risk if you have somebody who has some pretty serious charges who will bail on you. I mean, hell, it happens. So, you know, you're not transporting this person out to an outside medical facility. You're we're reducing the risk to contraband being brought back in the facility. There's a whole lot of risk here that we're eliminating just by doing these real small changes. Now, I'm not saying that everybody we take out is a runner or going to bring something back into jail. I mean, I'm more of a realist. I realize that 90% of the people that I have in jail right now, I could go get them out of a dorm, put them in the front seat of my truck, and we could go to a doctor's office, and they're going to get back in the truck and ride back to the jail with me. We're never going to have any trouble. But there's always that one that's going to do something, and he's going to get out here and he's going to hurt somebody or cause a lot of damage.
Yeah, I forgot that I was muted. Thank you for that. Look at Jet's like muted. I saw one and was like, oh, here it comes. I did send those links out. Nobody's coming up yet. No, I know I'm muted. I was. What I was saying is I can see a lot of the thoughts in people's heads that you're a convict, you've been to prison, why are you friends with a jailer? That seems kind of weird. And you're right, I have been to prison. I did a lot of time, and I'll tell you right now, somebody that's been to prison, jails and prisons are necessary. The prison industrial complex is a problem. The profit for incarceration is a problem. There's no doubt about that. And there's a lot of problems with jails all over the country. I'm not advocating for jails and prisons, but I understand the reality that we need a place to put the weirdos of our society. We need a place to put the murderers and the sick people that you do not want living next to you or standing next to you at the grocery store. And here is Manuel Mata.
Yeah.
So,
hello. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. And just real quick, just to hit on what you said is that's been a topic a whole lot that's been brought up about me is, oh my God, he is talking to somebody who has a criminal history. Yeah, I sure am. That's kind of part of my job. I do that every day. And if I can't be fair and impartial to somebody on the outside of the jail who has a criminal history, how do they expect me to be fair and impartial to somebody on the inside of the jail that is going through the court system? Not all people that has a criminal history are bad people. I'm sure if all of us took a real hard look in the mirror and was real truthful with ourselves, we would all realize that we've probably all done something at one point in time in our life that might have landed us in there, even if it's only for a night.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah. You make a good point. If you can't get along with me, how can people trust you to be nice to inmates and shit?
Yeah. And, of course, it's no secret, I worked with the sheriff's office and I work in the dope world with some stuff. And, I see a lot of people, see a whole lot of things. And, I'm not scared to say that there's a whole lot of people who walk the streets among us who are a whole lot worse than the people that's inside the jail.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's an understatement. Yeah. The ones you got to worry about are the ones that haven't been caught yet.
Nah, for real.
For real. Yeah. Of course, I'm going to call you. I don't. And do you go by Mata? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Mr. Mata, I'm JJ. I've actually never talked to you before, and I watched you last night for the first time, and I actually thought you was very entertaining. I actually enjoyed the 30-minute interview that I got to watch.
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate that. Because I would like to think that if someone is in charge with keeping a large number of a group of individuals safely, would look at them human, would be able to put themselves in their shoes, not to make their situation, which is already complicated as it is, worse. So,
I
and
think that
my whole reason was to have questions for you because uh I don't it was funny to me because I didn't get these answers yesterday when uh for whatever his name is,
Chris. Just
for
call him
PS whatever. Yeah,
Chris.
Chris. Okay, he brought up a couple things that, what was it? What do you call it? Mag dumping, which I looked it up. I couldn't really find the mag dump reference, but there was a couple of things. But my whole trip was, why was he stuck on that? So that was my question, right? His allegation was that you or somebody mag dumped on some citizen over there. Now, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, right? To understand both sides, right? So from
hmm
that first thing, that's the first question I had for you. Was there any truth to that?
yes, and actually, let's just go over it because I actually brought some paperwork with me tonight. Of course,
Cool.
I have. I just want to be real clear about this. I've avoided this for a couple of different reasons. Back whenever this story got brought up, and of course, not everybody got the whole story, so I just left it alone, just out of the respect for the, I'm going to say, the guy who was involved, uh, because since that day, he actually went to jail, or prison. He served his time. He got out of prison. He's remarried. He's got a cute little baby. He makes as much money as I do every year, and he's turned his life around. And he's very successful. So I really didn't want to go drag him back through the mud, which it's been tried a few times. Actually, Chris reached out to this guy a couple years ago, and of course, me and this guy, we still communicate. I mean, we don't go like hang out or nothing together, but we live in a small town, so we all know each other. This guy actually told Chris that he wasn't into his silly YouTube bullshit and to leave him alone. But being as it got brought up, let me just read you just the case report on it, and you can make your own decision.
So it wasn't you, it was someone else.
Well, there was two people involved. Well, two main people involved. I mean, there was
Oh,
other
okay.
people in the car, and I had two people with me, and so on and so forth. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. So that would have been my question.
okay, but here's the gist of the story, and I'll let you lead off with questions after this. Uh, there's a
Okay.
large group of us who was out serving search warrants or arrest warrants. We just happened to be in this little town in Kentucky. It's called Akron. While we was backing out of the driveway after making no contact with one individual, just observed this car. Whenever I say run a stop sign, I mean run a stop sign. He blazed to a stop sign. Just lit him up. Just going to tell him, hey, slow down. Well, he drove about 150 yards and he finally stopped. Well, whenever he stopped, the passenger door flung open and a guy stepped out. Well, one late stepped out. Well, he was sort of entangled in the seatbelt. You could see that. So I hollered out the window, had the door open, and told him just stay in the car. As soon as those words left my mouth, the car took off. Well, it started dragging this guy down the road. So we run, I don't know, I'm going to say 75 foot, maybe 100 foot, give or take, a few feet. Well, the guy finally comes out of the car. One of the people who was with me, he got out and he stayed with the guy, obviously to check on him and, see if he was okay. EMS come checked him out. I pursued the car at that point. We run about 8.3 miles, 8.4 miles through several little areas, stop signs, whatever have you. Well, finally, this car at a high rate of speed, he tried to turn off a road. He spun out of control. Well, whenever he spun out of control, I tried to place my truck that I was driving in front of him to where if he did take back off, he couldn't make it back to the main road again. He only had one option, and that was to go down a little side road, a whole lot less traffic in the middle of the evening. Well, as I got out of the truck, the car has died. Well, he's trying to crank the car. You can hear the car cranking. Well, the car started, and whenever he started it, he put it in drive, and he started coming at me. So I shot at him. Well, at that point, once I shot at him a couple times, and of course I was sort of turned halfway, like trying to run to the back of my truck, get away from him, he put the car in reverse and started backing up. So at that point there, I actually shot the tire and shot a hole in the side of the motor. Car died, and he ended up getting tased and other things, but he went into custody. And he was charged with the possession of meth, wanton endangerment, assault second, fleeing and evading, drug paraphernalia, operating a motor vehicle under the influence, operating on a suspended license, speeding, resisting, reckless driving, and persistent felony offender. Did I
persistent felony offender? They call that the ROPE program in Arizona, the repeat offender program.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, if you got questions, I'll answer them. I just soon leave this guy's name out of this. There's no sense in dragging his wife and kids out of this, but
yeah, no doubt. No, because my question was, I want to figure out where the scandal was. You know, like he kept bringing it up, like y'all covered something up, or you know, like y'all lied about something. And hearing you tell it right now, it is the same way that I read it.
Well,
you know, do you understand?
I mean, basically, he went to court, he pled guilty, he went to prison. As far as a cover-up, I mean, hell, let's face it. I mean, hell, his dad was a mayor. Is his dad going to allow a cover-up?
Nah, yeah, I'm not the one to answer that one because we have it over here. But that's what I mean. Like I want to come to an understanding, and the way he was making it seem is like you took part of it. You had all this knowledge, and you helped it. And from what you're saying is y'all had the part of the arrest, the chase, and the processing. Everything else is out of your control because that's the way it is here. Like y'all don't get to investigate yourselves when someone loses their life in your custody, right? It ain't going to be a supervisor or captain or nothing like that that's going to investigate. It goes to another person. So
yes,
that's what I wanted him to explain to me, but he was too caught up in what he was trying to say. So now that I know that, it's like the only way that y'all would be involved in a scandal or cover up is like if y'all didn't give them body cam footage, or if y'all switched the story up or something like that, right? And that's not what I'm hearing, right? So we can leave that right there where it's at. That's on to number 2, right? So his idea was that because he pointed that out about you, that you and I forgot the word, and your buddies were all over the internet, and you're the reason why he ended up with 15 charges. Now, how is that possible? Because I know they make them up on me, but not that many. I think the most they've made up was like 3.
Yes, and of course it's it's either 12 or 13 that I'm involved with. It's not 15. I realize math isn't his strong suit.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna say math. I'm gonna say numbers altogether, which it's really simple. Over a 2-year period, it all boils down to going on internet and making self-incriminating videos and doing it to yourself. It's not like I'm having to go out and like search and do any kind of request or do anything wild. I just really, I mean, whenever I say literally just sit at home and just click and save, it's been that easy. I mean, he's done it all to himself. I mean, there's nothing I could do to make him post my daughter's address on Facebook and say I'll be waiting in my underwear. There's nothing that I could do to make him go to YouTube 12 hours after he was served with the first complaint about that and make him repost it. There's no way that I can sit on his couch and call one of my jail employees and repetitively and make him talk to him. I mean, I can't make him do that. You can't make him do that. There's only one person that's responsible for that. It's himself.
That's crazy. Yeah, no, I understand that. Because look, truthfully, we because we have. I like to call them a squad. You know, because for them I've asked them for the name of the team numbers, the team members, or whatever. So I'm gonna call them a squad, right? There's investigators for the prosecutor. There's a prosecutor. We got a sheriff. We got a lieutenant and a sergeant. That's like 5 different people that watch our shit, right? So this thing makes more sense to me now because that's the shit that me and Carolina go through, right? They're hitting us up on these technicals for the bond probation we're on. So we have a 25-foot rule. So we use that as the logic. So basically, all you're doing is knocking them over the head with the 25-foot rule. It doesn't mean that he can't be 25 foot within you. So basically, that's his interpretation of you giving him 15 because I'm going to use his because he didn't say 12, 13. He said he stayed on 15, right? So they came from not them people lying on him, but from the responses of his comments in his post. That's crazy. Okay. And there was one more, right? Oh yeah. And this is for both of y'all. Since y'all in cahoots with each other, right? Y'all in here, y'all got a LLC and y'all are scamming. Okay. Do any kids make y'all merchandise?
No. What the fuck?
Okay. I have to ask these questions, right? So y'all stuff, right? The money, whatever. Because hey, I seen that video, and for you to take that money and use it to help your issue in there, dude. I've screen recorded that piece, and I've sent it to certain commissioners here in Fort Worth. Because these dudes are steadily saying they don't have money for body cameras, right? So all the money that is getting fucked over, right? Instead of having to pay a lawsuit because they caught one of their commissary workers bringing fentanyl into the jail, that money could have went to what you did exactly. Because here they'll kill programs. Anything that's beneficial to keep people from coming to jail that's the first thing on the chopping block, right? So in that sense, right, that's why I asked those questions. Y'all don't have kids, making your merchandise, sweating away all day in some little warehouse. So that's good. Okay. And second one was I forgot already. But see, this is why it's important to be able to talk to both sides, right? my concern was he wasn't putting them as accusations. He was saying everything for facts, and that for D associated with you is crazy. Because for me, because you were three things yesterday. What was it? First, you were a government official, and now when I asked for clarification, you turned into a sheriff. And then when I asked, what do you mean? Because there's three different kinds of sheriffs, and then you turned into a jailer. So that's where I was stuck at, right? So, and that's what I mean. Like it switches so much, so you have to be careful about what people say and what people are passing on as information, because it's not hard. Look how easy it was, right? D said, "Hey, later on, the blah blah blah, cool, right?" Because that was my thing. Because most of the times when people are around something that happens to them that are bad, there's two things that does to a person psychologically, right? Not emotionally, not none of that, psychologically. There's two things. Either you're not going to feel bad because you're going to justify it, or you're going to feel fucked up, but that's just the way it is, because that's either your line of work or that's the lifestyle that you chose to be in.
I
And
agree.
that's how you tell, well, people are liars or what they're saying doesn't make any sense. So those were my questions, right? And you didn't run from none of them. So that's like, come on, man. And that's what I was saying yesterday. If you hate someone, just say fuck D, man. It's easy. You don't have to create all these weird scenarios, these shit stories, because they're easy to disprove, right? And that's why I said, like yesterday, if you're not dealing in facts and it's emotion, you're gonna lose and you get your shit stomped in every motherfucking time, because you're not gonna make no sense and people are just gonna laugh at you. They're all laughing at you. They're all gonna laugh at you. That's what you're gonna hear. Not only in that whole conversation, but when you're alone by yourself and you're saying, man, fuck this dude, fuck this motherfucker, that's what you're gonna hear in the back of your head. They're all laughing at you. They're all laughing at you. And you did it to yourself. That's why I said nobody can mislead me to believe or say anything, bro. I want to know things by myself, right? And I know some sheriffs in that, or sheriffs in the department, hate the dude they work for, but that's what they're stuck with, right? But I know if they've told me, if they were able to be in a position of power, they would change things. And had Direct D not made that little video after the live, because I still wasn't sleepy. I think I have insomnia or something, or I got it after reading that book by Stephen King, Insomnia. That's a weird ass book. But yeah, I seen that video, bro, and the way he explained it, it's like I even tried to poke holes in it. Not gonna lie, because I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna listen to D, because I'm gonna come at this like someone sent me a video and said, look at this fucked up guy, right? And I even went online and I looked at this. Look, I went on your website. I went on your county page and all this. The only thing that I found out was that situation that we were talking about that he kept mentioning earlier, right? And that's what I mean. Nobody ran from accountability. Nobody ran from transparency, and no one lied. So that was a whole weird situation to bring up to involve someone being shady or crooked, you know? Because if I could, I'd get all of your tax returns and all that. Then there wouldn't be no way around none of that. But we're limited, and with the things we're able to see, it's easy to connect patterns and the people you've associated yourself with. That's what I'm saying. And that's where I can say what D's talking about, right? Like, I don't know you personally. I would still have to, talk to you more or whatever, whatnot, to be like, yeah, this is a good sheriff or whatever, whatnot, right? As far as the allegations that were put against you, I do not believe them. Like as far as the cover up and the lies and all that, I don't believe it. I don't. You know, I just think he's mad because you didn't click up with him and you're from over there. I think that's what this is really about, right?
JJ, haven't I been telling you that for a minute?
Oh,
And
yes, 100%. And of course, touching on our, I'm gonna say our for now, our outfielder freedom, and even that's not even presented to people correctly. Chris Ruff isn't in business with me. He didn't go in business with me. I went in business with him. At least get that part right. Whenever I first even conjured up the idea, what actually got me motivated in that is it sounds stupid, but in my spare time, which don't have a whole lot, but it's a hobby of mine, I make whiskey bottle lamps out of old whiskey bottles, and I sell them.
okay.
And I needed a outlet to sell them, so Chris already had the website set up, so we put a few of them on there. One a process. I said, hey, why don't you have your shirts and stuff on there too? So we got together and we come up with I might have had the t-shirts made, but he come up with the t-shirt logo and all that kind of stuff. He's actually the brains and the OCD person behind being sure everything's exactly right. So
hold on, I didn't make that logo, but it is mine.
Yeah, and the placement of it and how it goes on the shirts and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's all you. I mean, I can't take credit for that. You're way more OCD than I am on stuff like that. It has to be right, or you don't want no part of it. You want everything good quality and. But go ahead, Chris. You were saying something.
Oh, I was just saying that the DirectD logo, I didn't make that design.
Oh,
I don't want to take credit from somebody else because I know they watch my channel, so I didn't make that.
But Mata, back to kind of what you was saying. It just seemed like somebody got their feelings hurt because of what side I'm on, and it's not really what side I'm on. To me, it's what I feel the side of right. And one thing that I've seen out of a lot of the people who, and I'm going to call them grifters on the internet. I'm not even going to associate them with 1A community. I'm going to call them grifters. Is they go out, portray themselves as these activists working for the betterment of the community and the betterment of the country, and they're going to make everything better, but they only want to give one side of the story. Anytime somebody wants to give their side of the story or who wants to contradict anything they say or tell the truth about it, well, they're the ones that's going to be attacked by just a small handful of them. And a lot of these people, they're used to dealing with just your clerk behind the desk, your postal worker who's 6 months from retirement who just don't want to make any ripples in the water. They're not used to anybody standing up against them and saying, no, you're wrong, and here's why you're wrong, and here's the proof showing that you are wrong. They're not used to that, and they can't handle that. They're used to, and they think they can make a few phone calls to somebody's family member, get their kid's name, and put it on the internet, and that's and they're just going to lay down and bow down to them. And they don't know how to react whenever somebody says, you know what, I'm going to take a stance, and what you're doing is wrong, and I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, that whole situation is weird, right? But look, this is my thing, right? Look, I'm not finna get on the internet, no way, and argue with no attorney, bro. And for him to do that, no wonder he got his head kicked in. Because I mean, look, listen. Not only right, they do this, but they can get information and paperwork. We can't, and that's why I was like, dude, stop it, please. Like, that makes no sense, because the only two things are gonna happen at the end of everything. You might manipulate, misconstrue, right, and twist it up all you want, but eventually someone's gonna come along and be like, hold up, that's not true, because Remember, you said this and you showed me this or you did this. That's what's going to happen every fucking time. And that's why I say it's better to be honest. Because if he would have just been honest, he wouldn't have been in this hole to begin with. And that's why I said, man, that some people are crazy because all you can do then is be on defense because you can't be on offense because what D's doing is offense. All of it is offense. These dudes are playing defense because they're not even on the court yet, and that's the crazy part. Because I heard what was it for like an hour the other day, or whatever it was, in the comments how intelligent he was and how smart and all this, but you're so dumb that you don't see what's happening to you, what's being done to you, and sad to say, it always comes out. Just like alcohol. Alcohol brings out the truth and how what people really think and what they really mean. So does hate and anger. It's the same drug because it fucks with your endorphins. It fucks with your brain that where you would normally have that little click button that'd be like, hold up, shut the fuck up, don't say that. Be quiet. That's not there because it's put on either mute or burnt out because you're hormonal. And I don't understand that. That's why I said, why would an intelligent person do that to themselves? So that's why I said that. That's why I told.
and
That's
course,
why. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was saying, and me and D, we've had a conversation similar to this, and you're right about being on the defense. And I've learned to start looking at like YouTube, almost like any other business that's out there. You can start that business, but if you start that business and you're conducting business under false pretense or you're being deceitful and you're lying, it's just like any other business that's out there. It's going to fail. You might keep your head above water for a short amount of time, but your business is going to fail. And that's what some of these YouTube channels have done is, and everything on their channel is based on just lies and being deceitful and trying to fool their viewers. And it's no different than an auto repair shop who screws every customer that comes in the door. Eventually that automotive repair shop's going to be out of business. And that's why I feel like D has been so successful and has the subscribers that he has and the following and the support is, like him, love him, hate him. He comes off abrasive sometimes, I know, but he's one of the most truthful voices on YouTube.
Yeah. And look, and my whole thing is this, right? Because even that guy that you were arguing, what was his name? David, right? I remember him in videos talking about there's FBI agents that are my buddies that tell me these things. They appreciate my change. They appreciate what I'm doing. I got sheriffs. I got police officers, police chiefs. The same way with everyone else who's saying the same fucking thing, right? That's why you shouldn't let your ego get ahead of your mouth. Because when you start saying this person is wrong, if you can go back not even a year or two, and everyone who's saying it, and they've said the same thing. There's these guys. So if you're telling us on live, right, on the internet, that you have these relationship with these individuals and they're in your comments, they're watching your videos, what are you doing with them privately? Because we already know what D's doing with this guy, right? Because we just made him explain it right now on this motherfucking live. So there's nothing hidden, right? So all these other people, right? Since this is the standard now, if you're gonna call someone something, and when they prove it that you're full of shit, that what you're talking about is a lie, you're next. So everyone was sitting here calling you feds and saying you work with the law. You sold everyone out. Okay, JJ has D gave you any information about any auditor where no, not information like addresses or nothing like that. Information that's gonna get someone incarcerated.
No.
Okay, good. That's that, right? Has he given you any information that'll help you succeed, benefit, or in any way, uh, uh, yourself? No. Okay. So see, that's where that dies. You understand what I'm saying? And if they can't do the same, because you can go back and someone in the chat, I'm pretty sure y'all are already doing it, right? Going back to where these weirdos are saying the same thing. They have a relationship with FBI agents. They're cool with police chiefs and all that. They have to do the same thing, right?
And
Because it's only fair, because when you try to put dirt on someone's name and that person is willing to come up, because this guy didn't have to, right? He didn't have to come up here and explain shit to none of us. He could have said fuck them and what the fuck they're talking about, because they're all fucking wrong, right? It could have died there like the rest of these real loser cops, real piece of shit sheriffs, real scumbags that send an email to the commissioner's court and say, I don't want to go because we don't like the way y'all talk to us and make us answer for jail deaths, right? You're not doing that. You're right here on the internet, and I can ask you whatever I want, and I did. There wasn't no y'all didn't reach out to me an hour ahead and say, hey, these are the questions that you're allowed to ask, Manuel. This is how the script is going to go. That's not how this works, right? So be careful when y'all point fingers, right? Even if it's the middle one, because y'all dumbasses got three of them pointing right back at y'all. So don't ever forget that. Just remember that, right? And that's why I said, I will get to the bottom of this. I will have an understanding. And D, another day, I told her, I said, reach out to me, anybody, of why I should say fuck D. They left me the fuck alone about that. Nobody reached out to me. You know what I'm saying? Because there has to be a point where all this shit really, really, really stops, where you're making up shit and just address the issue. If you're not gonna propel the movement, please get the fuck out of the way. You know, because yesterday I gave almost a 30-minute example of for when people said we don't have a solution, we don't know what the fuck to do. Stop using that weak, lame excuse because y'all don't want to propel shit. Y'all really not talking about nothing. And when the next time y'all jump out there talking about changes, please sit the fuck down, tuck your skirt, and just chill with the rest of the people that are in the comments calling us losers, bums, all this other shit. Just stay there with them, right? Because that's what you are. When you don't understand that they've already stopped that movement. In case none of y'all have noticed, every courtroom, look, this is every courtroom in Texas ain't trying to hear Turner versus Driver. They're not trying to hear Houston versus Hill. They're not trying to hear Pulliam versus Texas City. They do not give a fuck. They jack off to it in the courtroom and spit it at the jury, and the jury gobbles it up and and you're fucking guilty. So we're stuck there. What's next? What's next? And if y'all clueless, y'all not getting it, this ain't for y'all. And this is the example he's making. If the solution for y'all is to stay stuck in the courts and it dies there, then just shut the fuck up. Just be quiet, man. Just be quiet. And you don't have to be quiet. Just don't act holier than thou. Like you're looking down on someone, right? Because that's the first sign of ignorance, not being able to comprehend. Fuck if you like what the message is. Because if you can't comprehend it first, you have no argument. There is no debate. You know? And that's why I sit back and I pay attention to all this and I listen, right? And that's why I said day 2 for me. day 2 of my. No one gave me a reason to say fuck you, D. So we cool, homie. Right? And I didn't find a reason why to say fuck JJ, because I mean personally, to me, and this is my opinion from the outside looking in, and I said it earlier when I started this. It's all over because JJ, you didn't pick him, and he's there. You went all the way to Arizona to fuck with a criminal, a felon, a weirdo, all these weird ass names they had for him. And sometimes that bitter truth pill is hard to swallow, and it's easier to spit it out and spew nonsense.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? I tell them stay in your lane, please, because mentally, just that whole thing. I don't ask me my opinion, especially if you're wrong. You're not gonna like it. That's why I sat here and listened that whole time. And I've been the thing that's been shocking me is how what you're talking about is going over their head, and they rather say "fuck you" for being the one who said it. And that's the part that's the divide. That's what's causing these dudes to feel so hard up on defending the chili effect. And that's kind of crazy, man. You know, because the best way to not have it is to not even be that way. So, how I said, I fuck with you, D, man. You know, you my boy, man. You know, people might not like you. They might disagree about how you're doing something. But I know this, bro. They can bitch and complain all they want. And until they do it or they show you a better way, just sit back and watch it.
Right. I agree. Yeah, you know what's up, man. You've been talking to me for years. You know.
I know.
You know what time it is. You know what I'm about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've known JJ for a year, ladies and gentlemen, and I've known Mata for probably 3, maybe longer, 4, almost 4, maybe. I don't even know. Long time.
Yeah, DirectD was one of the ones that actually responded to my email, gave me his number, and then did a couple videos for me. You know, that's why I would rather listen and have an understanding with him than someone who ignored the fuck out of me. Someone told me that to holler at him when I died, for my family to holler at him, or someone that just looks at it and ignores it, right? I'd rather sit here and listen to you, you know, because to me that means more than some dude that has 5 different channels and 20 sub channels, and oh my god, it's so fucking frustrating after a while. But yeah, and and their only argument is you're a criminal, and what was the other one? The cell phone thing, and
I live in a shed.
oh yeah, that's my favorite one.
That's
The
or it's a
shed.
dumpster. It's evolved into a dumpster now, so we'll just say dumpster.
Dumpster shed. A
Yeah.
dumper shed. A dumper shed.
Well,
I'm gonna have some friends over here tomorrow. I'm gonna see if they're down to go live. We might do an impromptu, like a little podcast with some of the my Arizona friends if they're interested.
Okay.
hey, Mata, just while I got you on here, and just hell, we're asking questions. Whatever got you? I know you said you reached out to Chris and he made you a couple of videos. What got you into the whole YouTube world and doing this? But what actually motivated you to do this?
I was I was filming. Look, I wasn't even on that filming thing, right? I had a bunch of friends that were in. Let's just say they weren't the best citizens, right? But they were still my friends. You know, they looked out for me, and we looked out for each other because we were in an ugly place one time. You know, so he tells me to go where because he ended up getting shot at like I think 8 times, and he got hit like 4 or 5. But he's like, they're not telling me if they brought my stuff, my cell phone, my wallet's all in there. So I'm like, where was it at? And he goes, it's right down the street from your house. I go over there. There's nothing there. There's nobody there. But I tell him there's somebody there with the car and they're talking with the laws. He goes, make a video of them and leave. So I did. I recorded them. But this one cop didn't like that. And before he walked up to me, I burnt off on him. I took off. But this guy, he kept following me. And I ended up going, I was going to go to a 7-Eleven by my house, but there was nobody there. And I didn't trust these guys like that. So I ended up going to a QT and it was bigger. This dude would not leave me alone for like almost 30, 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. And I had it on video. And they ended up trespassing me from the QT over a light on my bike. And I told them, okay, that's cool. I'll put one on my bike. Thank you. Fucking asshole. And I burnt off. These motherfuckers tried to hit me with their car and it freaked me the fuck out. So I ran. I ran. I dusted them on a bike because they couldn't find me. And I fucked up. I should have stayed where I was at, hidden or whatever. I didn't. I wanted to go home. So as soon as I crossed the main street, he never turned on his emergency lights, the red and blues. He never had his headlight. I didn't see him until I turned around and I heard the. So when I turned, he runs me over. And the first thing he says, why did I run into his car? And I said, man, fuck you. And at the time, the only drug I ever do is I smoke marijuana, right? So that's what I had on me. So when he pulled it out of my pocket and he said, "Oh, we got it," I was like, "I don't give a fuck." But then I looked to the side, and he had his glove wasn't on his hand. So whatever he was saying, I got it. I was like, "Man, fuck that." Nah, whatever it is, you put it on me. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you. So they lied the whole thing. They hid the body camera. They tried to force me to plead guilty. I did not, and it was just crazy. And all I wanted to do was get them guys in trouble for running me over. They didn't have to do any of that. And I got trespassed. I got chased off the police station. And I said, you know what? Fuck this. And then I ended up getting the body cam footage. And that's what I ended up showing to people. Like, this is why. And I would tell people, I'm not an auditor. I don't know what the fuck that is. That sounds like somebody who works for the government and everyone hates them. So that's why I was like, I don't know what that is. So when everybody started reaching out to me, what do you call yourself and whatever, my statement was always this: I'm a pissed off citizen who's had enough. You know, that's what I always stick with, man, because honestly, that's what all of us are. Whatever it is that we come from, background, or whatever it is, right? It doesn't exclude us from enjoying freedoms, right? Like, I could hate the way D rolls up a blunt and the way he fucking smokes a cigarette, but so fucking what? He could get mad at me because I like I don't like the Dallas Cowboys, right? Little shit like that. People are turning it into like the most egregious thing a person could do to humanity, and then it propels. So that's was my thing, man. That's what made me say fuck all this and all that, and I just jumped out there. And they kept fucking doing dirty shit to me, so I ended up going to the law library. And I ended up going to the library for like about 6 months until I went with Carolina and she got us trespass. But yeah, I looked into jaywalking, impeding the road, um, Or was it even driving, traffic violations, city ordinance, penal codes? I looked up case laws and all that, and I kind of was still not understanding how to make all of it make sense or articulate it until I met a guy named Thomas, right? Because he's like, dude, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but you could do so much more. And me, I took it personal. I'm like, what you mean? Like, dude, you found me. You came looking for me. That's when I understood that if you let your ego get the best of you, when someone smarter than you is trying to show you something, and you let your ego get in the way of that, you're dumber than you were when you met that person. So I let my ego go because the shit that would upset me was stuff that I didn't understand. Like the way he said something, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that means. Explain it. And it was that easy. Explain it, dude. I don't get it. To where it went to a 3-minute drill. I have 3 minutes to tell the mayor and council why I think cops are scumbags without cussing. So that's what this turned into. It went from cussing at them at traffic stops, telling them to eat a dick, fuck you, all this shit, to how am I going to explain to a mayor and council for 3 minutes why I don't think these cops should be in our neighborhoods? So it was like a real crash course into understanding and like trying to make someone understand what you're talking about. Because then not only was that something I was doing, as soon as I started going to the city council meetings, the commissioners court meetings, the Terran appraisal district, the TRWD, like all these different government buildings that had to do with the city, all these people, oh, you're the guy that cusses out the cops. And I was like, I like that. Yeah, that's me. Yeah. Hey, do you mind helping us? Like, we're gonna come next week, and they always tell us about filming, and oh yeah, hell yeah, I'll come. And then hey, we're gonna have this march and blah blah blah. And then now I understand why cops will tase someone, fuck them up, or whatever. I know how to tell if a sheriff is a scumbag, right? By the people who put him there. You know, it's not hard. It's not hard to find out if any politician, any mayor, or all that. You just have to know how. And that's where I'm at right now, right? So I'm glad they ran me over. I'm glad they planted drugs on me and lied on me because I would have never got here, you know? So that was my little spiel in a little short, you know. So in between, I've been arrested like 14 times. I've been arrested 14 times.
Oh, I got you beat. I got you beat. I thought you had been arrested more than me. I got you beat. I got you beat. I got you beat. I got you beat.
No, wait. I got arrested 15 times. I've been wait. 13, 14, 15, 16. No, 16. If you got more than 16, yes, you beat me.
Yeah, I got 20 plus. Yes.
Yeah, no, you got me. Good. Yeah, no. And they only won once, and then right now the other one's on appeal. So out of all that, they've only beat me in court once. And the second time that they took me to court is on appeal. And right now I have two cases that I don't think if they go to trial for these two recent ones, they're dumb.
I got
Oh,
warrants.
yeah. No, I don't have warrants.
I got warrants. I told them to go fuck themselves, and then I bought property up north and moved out of the county. And now I just go online like, come and get me.
Yeah, because you're a criminal, D. That's crazy.
And I got
I'm
a
cool.
jailer up here with me. I mean,
I'm cool with criminals, man. That's fucked up.
Hey, Mata, they're talking shit to you in the chat. They're like, he's borderline mumbling or babbling. Sorry, not mumbling. And then you have other people who are like, he's making great points. What is it, guys? Is he babbling or is he making good points? I think he's making good points, but he is kind of.
No, because that thing keeps moving.
What thing?
Because I had to come to this little spot in the little corner in the room, and instead of putting it, I put some headphones on, and that little thing keeps swinging like away from my mouth. So that's probably what they're saying is here's mumble when it moves.
Oh,
I don't know.
Oh, you got headphones behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you got any other questions for him, JJ?
No, I can't think of anything. I mean, I appreciate you telling me. I mean, I like to know a little bit of background. Maybe what got you into this, and maybe try to see and hear another point of view.
I'm just a little upset, man. I'm kind of mad though on the cool. I thought we were gonna expose a dirty jailer today, man. I'm a little disappointed, man. Not taking nothing away from you, JJ, but I was really hoping I was gonna be able to trip you up and some shit like that. Cause and I say this joking, but also to prove a point. Okay, everything I said to you would have pissed off the average person, just like yesterday, when all I said was explain why JJ's a piece of shit. Why do you think he's a scumbag? Why do you think he's a liar? All I got was emotional responses. And from you, I got factual responses. Right? This happened, yes, this, but that, this, and everything explained itself like the way it was supposed to. Not yesterday, where I had to defend myself from something I didn't say to him. And that was more frustrating than not being understood. Because not only did you not get the fuck what I was telling you, but now I have to defend myself because you misunderstood what I said. And I fuck with the dude, and I was like, dude, don't come at me like that, bro. Because that's why I ask questions to come to an understanding. And the understanding I came about today, JJ, is you don't snitch on no. My boy didn't give up info on none of us because we all would be in fucked up situations. You are not having a warehouse full of children working for 10 cents an hour or a day. So, other than that, I mean, until we see you on the news or something on the headline, then I guess you're all right. But that's all it is, bro. I like the fact that you came on here, right? You explained what someone wouldn't yesterday. Is just quick to throw up. That's why I called them allegation and accusations. Because I told him, let me read it. I kept telling him, didn't I, D? I said, bro, I'm not disagreeing with you. Let me look into it. But he was so adamant. No, he even used my shitty sheriff as an example. And that's why I told him, this isn't the same example because I don't know if he's like Bill Wayborn. Right? But that's how determined he was for me to be on this fuck Direct D campaign because that's what they're on. Instead of understanding what this is about, right? Because honestly, that's why I didn't feel offended about nothing what D's been saying about for the past month, bro. Because he ain't talking about me. He's not talking to me. He's addressing a certain character, certain behaviors, certain traits. Now he's already identified them in other people, so that's the example. What we're witnessing is those people defend themselves from the chili effect because no one wants to be in that box. That's what we're witnessing. And then you have these other dudes that are jumping on the bomb because they feel like you're chunking stones at them. Crazy.
And you talk about coming up here answering questions. I'm sort of replaying some of the 30-minute conversation you all had last night, and one of them, one comment that he made, and of course you was very quick to call him out on it. You actually got your phone out. You actually said you was going to his YouTube channel. He made the accusation that I'm sending all these people over to his house. You remember him saying that?
Yes.
And his reason that there was no video was because the police told him, don't put that on there. It's under this investigation. Well, I can say as of 2 p.m. today, there's no active investigations involving me or any of the other people that he accuses of all these horrific crimes in Carrollton, Kentucky, that's under any kind of investigation. And just to follow up a little further with that, we all know good and well that if anything like that had taken place, that video would have been on YouTube probably within a 10-minute window of anything happening. So there is no investigation in Harrison County, Indiana. Let me be sure I get that out there. Harrison County, Indiana. There is no investigation into that. None.
Yeah, that's crazy. See, that's why you shouldn't lie, motherfucker. Yeah, man, that's so stupid. Why would you do that to yourself, bro? Nah, I don't even give a fuck. Fuck him. He's a weirdo. He's still cool with me. I'm still his friend. But you're a fucking weirdo if you're listening, bro. If someone sends it to you, bro, why? Why, man? Just be that's why I said, fuck you for not being a man. You should have just came on here and said, you know what, D? This ain't about none of that. Fuck you. I don't like you. Just because. Fuck you. You took my shit. That's what it is. I would have respected that. But no, you had to sit here and bring another dude into the combo and add all this other thing. That's easy to disprove. That's the craziest part of all this. It ain't- and look what you just.
Your robot out. You roboted out.
Because that was the biggest, right? That's what his gripe was about. Because I asked him, like, besides that, right? Besides him having a business with you, right? What was it? What did he do to you? And that was it. That was his thing. He sent people, and there was I think he said 4 or 5 people were in front of his house.
He sent people,
And I'm like, dude, stop it.
Yeah, and that's
crazy.
one of them stories. That's one of them stories that has changed so many times over the last 2 years. It's been, I mean, hell, he's even went to the extremes of accusing a guy in Australia for playing a role in numerous things. He's accused D of having involvement in it. People in Carrollton. I mean, just these wild stories. I mean, whenever I say wild, I don't even know what kind of alcohol or drug you'd have to be on to come up with these kind of stories. I mean, this is the same kind of stuff as in like the owls in the trees with cameras in their eyes and the drones flying over the house at 3 a.m. I mean, it's wild stuff.
But I know one thing. I know he's and I hope this is an example for y'all people that think that y'all can just jump out here and just start running careless and everything. You're gonna run into people that have dealt with this type of thing, but in different areas and different environments. And this is what's gonna happen. They're not gonna like it, right? And all I said, if this dude was actual scumbag, bro, I wouldn't even be listening to none of this shit. You know, I wouldn't be trying to hear his side of the story or nothing like that. Because if I would have found out yesterday when I stayed up all night looking for all this, and I would have said that, I wouldn't. I would have told you, D, hell nah, that dude's trash. But the fact that I'm here should let you know something, bro. And I like investigating. I like exposing dirty, dirty people. So that he came to the right place. He was trying to bring me into it to get him on his side, but that you can't make something up that's not there, you know. And that's one thing a lot of us have to be honest about.
Right.
We can't just say this dude's a scumbag just cause, right? Because what you're doing is just like this, just what y'all got going on right now. Who knows if this dude doesn't say, "Hey, do you know anyone else who can draw? Anyone else that has these ideas?" And then he branches off like that, right? So for him to be like he's saying fuck the community, why is he helping you? Why y'all helping each other? Because you have to get past the emotion of it, right?
Yeah. 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 Sure. A lot of people don't understand all that though. Their base operating system is like fucking. You know what I mean? The first Windows operating system, and we're on like Windows 27,000 right now.
Now,
Go on.
of course, I asked
You're breaking up
this
a little
after we
bit.
got off, but what part of the country? I'm sorry. What part of the country are you in, Mata?
No, I'm in Fort Worth, Texas.
Oh, okay. I didn't know how far away from Kentucky you actually was.
Yeah, no, I'm in Texas. I'm in Tyrant County, Texas. That's what we call it here, Tyrant County.
Tyrant County.
Our sheriff has the record of jail deaths. He has 72 since he took over the jail. 72.
72
So
in how many years?
Well, that's almost on par with California's California CDC.
he's been in
Yeah.
as our sheriff for about 3 years.
3
3
years.
years or something like that.
Hold on now, and you got my interest now. How,
Yeah.
how big of a facility is this?
Oh, we have 4 different facilities.
Okay, but if you just had to throw a head count, how many? What's your daily population? All four buildings.
I would have to say, because downtown there's 10 floors, 4 tanks, and in every tank there's up to 52 people, and that's just in one building. Shit, man, that's a lot of. I'm ready to be honest, bro. I suck at math. That's a lot of people.
Now,
So
okay, let's say all 4 buildings. Would you say there's 2,000 people in all 4 buildings?
I'd say anywhere from 2,000 to 2,500 2,500 people in a building at any given time. Yes.
That's an astronomical number.
There's 4 of them, and they're overcrowded. Homie.
Well, yeah, and I mean, now granted, there's sometimes you can't help overcrowding. I get that, and you got to do what you got to do. But 72 deaths out of a 2,500 bed facility.
Yeah. And the crazy part, listen to this, right? Just recently, they charged 2 of them for. One of them was on with a knee in the neck, and the other one had his knee on his lower back, and they suffocated him to death, right? And the only way they found out about it is because one of the other supervisors recorded it on his cell phone. So they fired both of them. They charged them, but the district attorney ended up dismissing it. The discretional one, where they don't have to say why. They just dismissed it.
Hey,
out of
hey,
nowhere.
let me say something real quick. JJ, remember I talked to you about how all the reform and stuff that you've done in your jail, how you could spread that awareness around you could spread what you've been doing around the country and have a significant impact. I mean, Mott's is a good example of what I was talking about, being able to like possibly put you in touch with people and, put better ideas out there than what's happening. Because this happened, this problem in Arizona too, with people dying.
And I mean, now granted, don't get me wrong. I mean, yes, there is sometimes you cannot control where a person dies at, but you start seeing numbers like this, 72 in just one area with that kind of head count. That's bad. I mean, that's beyond bad. That's horrific. I mean, it's hard to believe the DOJ hasn't been there and actually done some kind of investigation to try to remedy that problem or cut them numbers down. I mean, god darn.
We've been trying for 3 years to get the DOJ here. They won't, and it's crazy too because they for a while they were ruled homicides, right? And the guards were getting away to where now they're being ruled deaths, but from neglect. Just recently, 3 people died from our jail from starvation. And there's excuses you can bring up that they don't want. They just refuse to eat. That's impossible.
Well, that goes to similar to a situation that I walked in on whenever I started. I actually had to settle a lawsuit from the guy who was there before me. It's sort of similar to that. This guy, just to a brief, he had actually had a medical condition to where he stopped eating. He actually got to where the other inmates couldn't stand to be around him because of some of the odors that he was putting out of his body. So they actually moved him to an isolation cell, and they literally waited until he was already dead, and then they took him to the hospital. And I mean, it was so bad that actually the hospital actually called the state police and launched an investigation into it. So I mean, I haven't ever seen firsthand that happen, but I mean, I've heard of it. I've had to deal with it. I've had to settle some lawsuits from the past over it. But I mean, just to say that, yes, inmates can be very contrary sometimes. They can be outright asses, and they can go on hunger strikes, and they can, and they can do a lot of stuff. You can have cutters, and you can have just a wide array of things. But to say you're gonna let somebody just starve to death, I mean, there comes a point to where even if you have to take somebody to a hospital and spend money that you don't feel like you should have to spend because it's a waste of money to actually put yourself in that situation and to have to go spend thousands of dollars, but just to let somebody lay and starve to death, I mean, it comes a point to where even if you have to go to a judge and get a warrant to have that guy sedated and have him put on IVs at a hospital, I mean, there's just everything is case by case basis. Every situation in jail is different. There's not very many things that happen that are like. So each case is different. But yeah, I mean, we've had people go on hunger strikes, and after about that 2-day mark, then you really start having to look for, what are we going to do? You just can't just throw your hands up and say, well, if he's too dumb to eat, we're just going to let him just lay in there and starve to death. That's not an option.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Like that, I would agree with you, but it's kind of hard to be like to that. Now, look,
Mata, hey, when you're not talking, there's a lot of interference from yours, I think.
oh,
You're not talking. Not right now. Whoa, where'd you go? You hit the wrong button. My bad.
Yeah, he's actually somebody that I would like to talk to more in depth, because obviously I'm involved more in the jail business than I am anything else, and just to hear that 72, and I was expecting him to say that sheriff had been in there for 25 or 30 years. He said 3 years. That's mind blowing.
Yeah. 3 years.
Yeah, no, that's not the only worst one. A lady gave birth to a baby, and the baby ended up. I think the baby ended up dead, or was it her? See, there's so many of them messed up, and there's stuff like that. To where, look, this is what I was saying too, and what you're saying about the hospital. What if I was to tell you they literally have a floor in our county hospital where there's inmates right now, and they're never going to get transferred back to the jail
10
because of
minutes.
how.
We'll wrap it up
Yeah.
in 10 minutes, guys. I'm just letting you know.
Okay.
I'm not sorry.
Yeah, and
I
of
know.
course,
Yeah.
just to tell you one of the things, like having a hospital and a jail, I realize a lot of your bigger prisons and even some of your larger jails, they have a hospital. One of the ideas that I had whenever I first started was I actually wanted to put like an urgent care center, actually attach it to our facility because medical cost is so high. And I first had the idea that this would be great to contract out with a local hospital who is wanting to come in our area anyways. And hey, let's put an urgent care center in to where it adjoins the jail, to where if we ever have any trouble, any blood work, any x-rays, all we got to do is literally we can walk our people over. We got a partnership with them, but then at the same time, they can also take people in off the street, kind of like just a dual benefit. But
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
but then actually having a hospital that actually is tied to the jail, I always felt I backed up on that idea because I think that that's a bad idea. Because
Why?
then if you send somebody out to a private hospital, whether it be a Baptist, an Orton's, a U of L, a university, I think the level of treatment they get there, I never want it to be a jail hospital. I just don't think jail hospitals give the same level of care that an outside facility will. And I think it'd be easy to fall into a pattern of minimal care. And I just think that patient care would be diminished.
You got you a good one, D.
That makes sense, yeah. Because
No,
I
it
see
does.
all industries when you become big or complacent, then service becomes lax. Yeah, even in the medical.
Yeah, because those are city. They're contracted. They make deals with them. Say for instance, like we have here, it's called JPS Health Network, right? So that's what kind of like this is, right? And what he's talking about is even better because it takes out the hospital, it takes out the clinic, right? He is the clinic. And that's something you need to tell your commissioner's court or them, bro. Because I'm pretty sure that if y'all add up the money you're going to save from sending these people to there, it'll be nothing compared to the building y'all going to have to build for it.
Yes, I'll agree. And I mean, it would be a huge investment. And hopefully if that would have come to light and that would have really happened, then probably the hospital probably would have been paying for majority of the building. But I don't know, it's just there's so many different things to look at. I mean, let's say that somebody's coming into the jail, they get arrested because they got caught shooting up in a local parking lot. Of course, we won't take that person. We actually make that person whatever department
Go over there.
we make them take them to the hospital, and we make them get them cleared. We want to be sure that they're fit for incarceration before we house them. So, you start having a building like that next door, people, they're just trying to fast track people in and out. And I just don't think it'd be good.
No. No, I agree with you. That's why I like asking these questions, man. Because I'm not hearing Bill Wayborn answers. That's what I'm saying. So you're oh yeah, Chris is stupid, bro. He's an idiot, dude. He could have had this dude on his side, bro. What the fuck?
He'd rather create enemies. And
yeah, but it's not even a side thing because it's not picking of a side. It's just joining your team and your squad is just getting bigger.
It's bridging the gap. That's what I see this as, is having JJ up here talking to us. We're both felons. We're both cop watchers in the sense of what we're doing on the internet. You know what I mean? With the audience is going to identify us as. And this is not normal. That's why this is important. This is what I came to YouTube and this shit with the understanding of, is we're supposed to be bridging the gap and educating at the same time and trying to accomplish something. And as I try to do that, it's like weird, like get shit talked, like, oh, you're friends with cops and government officials. Like, yeah, I thought that was the plan. I thought that's what we're supposed to do, is make connections, build a database or a base of people and information gathering and try to accomplish something collectively and bridge the gap. And because there's a huge gap with the government and the police and shit. There's people like James Freeman that think that you just fuck it, throw it all in the air, but that's not the answer. We can be the government. That's the answer. That's bridging the gap, in my opinion, is bringing people like JJ up, who's normal, who's in government, to talk to two felons on the internet about all this shit. I mean, what else? What do you mean? Like, should be encouraging. I hope everybody in the chat is like thinking, yeah, I could do some shit too. You don't like your local council member? Run against him. You know what I mean? Stop going to the councils and talking shit to them. Go run against them. Now, that's not going to run good for everybody, but that's the start. I mean, and from there you can develop other ideas and shit. But
or get behind someone who will be able to get in that seat.
How many people have I brought up here? I've brought up I don't even remember, but I brought up a few friends and political figures on my channel, trying to promote them, because that's what we should be doing. If somebody's got the right idea and they're like, I had a friend of mine that ran for mayor of Mesa, of course I'm going to get behind him and try to get him in office. I mean, I grew up in fucking Mesa. You know what I mean?
Of course, I'm still here hung up on this 72 deaths in 3 years. I just can't. Yeah, it kind of brings me. It kind of brings me back to something that's thrown in my face quite a bit. These people in this county is that a pretty good paying facility, and do they pay their people pretty good?
Fuck. Well, not compared to because they went from 8-hour shifts to 10-hour shifts to where right now they're literally on I think 13 or 14-hour schedule. And if someone calls in, they're fucked. They have to stay there. So literally you got some dudes that are there 24 hours a day, right? And they still have to go because they have to complete the other 13 the 13 hours. So not only does our sheriff mismanaging it, letting people die, he's working majority of his staff to fucking death.
Well, that's kind of where I was going with some of the pay. That's one thing too that I feel like it's common sense that if you besides Harrison County, Indiana, we're the highest paid jail in the area, and if you can pay your people what they're worth, the other jails, the other employees, and they notice, and you can pick out who you want, and you tend to get some of the best. And that's been one of my strategies. I mean, as if, and we pay more than everybody else, we're going to be the first stop that they make, because, whether it be police, jail workers, whomever, and they all know, hey, why don't you go try Meade County? So, and you got to pay your people.
Yeah, from a business owner's perspective, I'm 100% agreeing with you, because I learned that I learned that through my journey in the service industry, that if I paid my guys a lot, they would bust their ass. And the dudes that I paid by the hour were lazy. They would try to draw the day out, make more hours out of the work, make more work for tomorrow. And I know the joke about that, because we kind of did it in prison when we would rake the yard and shit. It's like job security. We'd call it job security. You leave some shit on the ground, you don't fucking do it exactly all the way at job security, so we can come back out tomorrow. And that's what I got. And then as soon as I started paying dudes like $200-$300 a day to show up and bust their ass, that's when we got some shit done. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
And I think we've all worked in a some kind of business or whatever field you're in, to where you have certain employees, and you know and they just don't care, and they'll tell you, I'm just here for a paycheck. I don't care what happens to this place. Well, that's not the kind of people that I want working with me or for me. And if they got that kind of attitude, and they're not going to stay around very long, then I've always said, you try to treat your staff just like you treat the inmates. And you try to do as much as you can for them, and give them all you can give them, and work with them. Everything from working with them on their vacation days to understanding whenever they have a personal reason that they need to leave. They got family functions they want to go to. They might want to go to watch your grandkid open their Christmas presents on Christmas morning. You have to work with the employees just like you have to work with the inmates. It's tough sometimes, and you might find yourself in there working on Thanksgiving Day whenever your employees are off. You might find yourself at a hospital with an inmate, or you might find yourself at a funeral home with one. There's just a whole lot to it that people don't see, and they don't understand. It's a lot.
All right.
Any last words, fellers?
No, I appreciate you having me up here, and Mata, it was good talking to you, and I definitely want to learn more about your all's jail situation. I'm just curious. Even if I had a news article, just something to get me going on, just to get me going down that rabbit hole. I'm interested.
Well, you can get my number from Chris. From D. You should get my number from D, and you can hit me up, because I have some questions for you too. And I'm glad that I'm able to talk to another sheriff about this. Right? So me and you, we can have some conversations.
I'm good with that.
So, and also I'm going to leave everyone with this, right? Now, since I've been a part of this whole live situation, I want everyone to have this in your minds when y'all think about people, right? And I've learned this, right? Don't listen to people that are proving their case on emotion, not facts. That's it. Just like that.
Sounds good to me. Appreciate you being here, man.
All right. Y'all be careful. Have a good night.
Thank you. Appreciate you being here, JJ.
All right. See you, Chris. See you, Monty. Y'all have a good rest of the night. Chat. Thanks for joining in. Sorry I couldn't read all your stuff, but if you need anything, just let me know.
Right on. Later, guys. Later, man. Well, folks, I hope that was enlightening. Please share this live stream with a friend. Feel free to clip it if you want. Other than that, have a good night.